Forest walking tours. They're hosted by Wake Forest Downtown. It's an all-volunteer nonprofit organization whose primary goal is to promote economic vitality and increase awareness of this part of our town, downtown, to include through active parking lots. Please be aware of your surroundings. We will stand in the crosswalks for you, but please stay on the sidewalks rather than on the street. We don't want to add any new ghosts to this part of our tour tonight. Without further ado, I'd like to give a special thanks to Firebox Theater Co. You can find them on White Street, and introduce our wonderful tour guide for the night. This is Richard.
Hello.
Woo! Richard!
All right, how many first timers here? Oh, great. So you all know if I'm lying or not?
Nah.
All right, no, great. We have a lot of news stories. We have a lot of updated things that we've done through here. So you're really going to enjoy the tour tonight. I really hope you will. There's a lot of history and a lot of different eerie things that happen in downtown Wake Forest. Wake Forest has always been known to be quaint. There's so much history here. Many of the buildings date back well over 100 years old, and they're still being used today by businesses and visitors alike. They all come down here to Wake Forest. Also, when you have that many older businesses and buildings, there's always some sort of things going on behind the scenes in those buildings that we're going to share with you tonight. One thing I really love about these tours is I'm not making anything up as we go. These have all been documented through research and over in looking at old newspaper articles and things, and also first and second hand accounts from people who have experienced these things. We had the pleasure this summer of inviting local paranormal group XV Planus to join us for 3 different evenings late night here in Wake Forest. I was there for 2 of those evenings. We're going to share with you some of the things that were discovered during those 3 nights. There were some very interesting things that happened within some of these buildings. So we'll go ahead and we'll make sure that we share all those things, listen up, and see if you see anything that might be a little out of the ordinary. To go over where we're going to walk tonight, we're going to start here at Town Hall. We'll go across the street and we'll work our way down to Elm, down to the banks and businesses within Wake Forest. It not only is known for its lending services, but it also has a spirit. If you look at the front glass where you see those vertical blinds, that room right there is the kitchen. That is where we believe that the spirit resides. You see, some time ago at Wake Forest Federal, they had a gentleman that made coffee every day. However, when he made coffee, he was pretty frugal. He used the same coffee grounds day after day after day. Many of the bank employees today say that for some reason, when only 1 or 2 of them are in the building, the coffee maker inexplicably turns on. And some of the cabinets in that kitchen area begin to slam open and shut. The employees believe that it is this frugal individual in their spirit that is not at all happy with the coffee spending habits of the current employees. Now, if you want, you can stop into Wake Forest Federal anytime you want and ask for a cup of joe. And I will tell you, they do make fresh coffee with every pot and use fresh grounds every time. Okay, let's go this way. Here. And when he became the postmaster for this area, he started calling it Wake Forest in his dispatches. In 1832, Calvin Jones sold this property to the North Carolina Baptist Convention because they wanted to build an educational institute here. In 1834, the Wake Forest Institute was opened, and in 1838, the institute became Wake Forest College. In 1872, the railroad moved its depot from Forestville up to the college because the college wanted its own depot over there. And with that, Wake Forest took off. A town began to form. Businesses began to open on the east side of White Street against the railroad. South White Street boasted department stores, drug stores, a cotton broker, a Chevrolet dealership, and several department stores, and over 20 restaurants and eateries. Nobody in Wake Forest cooked back then. That's the only reason I think I could come up with that. What's Wake County? Arab Tree Boutique, Over the Falls Deli, and our next spooky location, Strike and Barrel. Okay, Strike and Barrel. We've asked the owners, do you have a ghost? Oh yes, we have a ghost. And they affectionately call their ghost Charles. It seems that they believe Charles came with the vintage 1970s bowling equipment and alleys that they've installed there. Charles has been known to change bowling scores that employees have to correct for no explained reason. I've had people on the tours that say, oh yeah, that's right, I had a strike and it would eliminate. I don't know if that was true or not. Charles has also been known to knock over full glasses of beer at the bar. The bowling machines make strange scraping and clunking noises, which is kind of understandable for old equipment when it's running, but not so usual when it's done after hours and everything has been turned off. Charles has been known that to have footsteps and talking in the back room, and employees tell us that cabinet doors that they know are closed when they leave at night, and they come in the morning and those cabinet doors are open. So for Charles, I guess that bowling is right up his alley. And he can't spare any time away from it. That will not be the last bad joke. I promise. All right, split this way. All right, how many local people remember this was the funeral home that it is today in the late 50s? Huh. If you look over the tracks, there's that building with the two garage doors there, that smaller building that sits there, brick building on the left. That building was built in 1909. It was home to the Wake Forest Electric Company, and over the years it served as the town's jail. And now it houses Wright Funeral Home. So we had lots of people coming into Wake Forest post-World War II in the early 1950s. The town was flourishing. There was a steady flow of students and faculty and people coming and going and visiting town, and businesses were thriving. But there's one event during those years that still haunts the town to this day. Christmas Eve, 1951. There were sirens. The body of... Gotta wait. This happened. Luna Benningfield was found on a desolate road just beyond these trees here. Luna was a mother of 7 and wife of a mill worker. Her bloody body was taken down the road to Dr. Wilkinson, who proclaimed that she died from blunt force trauma to the head. As they were investigating Luna's murder, they tried to find out who could have killed this mother of 7.
To be confirmed. He identified his boss, the leader of a grading company here, and 2 other men as possible suspects in this murder. Police arrested those 3 men and held those 3 men in custody. All 3 of those men say that they were with Luna that night. They were playing cards and they were partying in the woods with her, but all swore that when they left her, they did not harm her at all. All 3 men, one of whom had been arrested prior, had warrant for his arrest because of his involvement in shooting and explosions that had happened just a couple years earlier in a very nasty strike that was going on at the mill. They held those 3 men, and when they made their $5,000 bond, they were released. After they were released, on January 1st, just a week after Luna's body was found, and its 2 explosions dropped in the woods near the mill village. The police chief said that one of the 2 trees in a thicket. Police said that one of the trees, all that was left was a 7-inch stump of a tree, and below that tree in a hole was found playing cards and a shoe that belonged to Luna Benningfield. The police chief also said that he believed that those explosions were a warning to anyone who was investigating this murder to stay away. In March 9th of 1952, grand jury met and said that there was insufficient evidence to hold these 3 men and charge them in the murder. So all 3 men were released. The story doesn't end there. In April, the body of Oscar Penny, the material witness, was also found in the same woods where Luna's body was found. Oscar had scrapes all over his body, but the doctor ruled his cause of death was a heart. Given the fact that Oscar was only 31 years old and the relatively short time of the release of those individuals, it really sounds a little bit suspicious that this death was a heart attack. But again, the story does not end there. It seems that Luna's spirit is still with us. Many drivers who have come over these railroad tracks at night say that they have seen a woman dressed in white coming out of these bushes. They say the look on her face, that sad look, is something that they'll never forget. Some of the drivers have pulled over and gone to help the woman. And when they get into the woods to try and find her, there's nothing there.
Wow.
2 baby albino deer have been seen near this railroad crossing. And an adult albino deer has been sighted at the Wake Forest Cemetery where Luna Benningfield is buried. Could it be that these rare animals are the spirits of Luna and her children trying to reunite in the afterlife and seek her justice?
That was a good story.
Yeah. Soon to be fiance.
Now it's heritage local design. If you notice the doors, you see that there's large glass